I pulled out the Hive Chapter 4. At the time of reaching into the movie for the first time. He originally wanted to take out a rifle. But in a hurry, he took out a zombie. And then when he tried to reach in, he immediately felt a tingling sensation. It's time. Chen Feng determined what this restriction was. The first time it was 5 seconds, this time it was 2 seconds. That adds up to a total of 7 seconds. In other words, his hand can only stay in the movie for 7 seconds. In more than 7 seconds, his arm will be completely destroyed. Can't you even put your hand in it in the future? Chen Feng couldn't help but be speechless in his heart. If you can't put your hand in it later, then this gold finger is equivalent to being wasted by him. After all, he only took out a zombie, plus a mercenary. In this world full of warriors, a zombie and a mercenary have a hairy use. Chen Feng began to make many attempts. He first pulled out a book and approached the TV screen. But there was no reaction. It seems that only his hand touches the TV screen to respond. But his hand was touching the TV screen. Immediately there will be a tingling sensation. Later, Chen Feng took out other video discs to try to play. He found that the other discs were after playing. His hand couldn't reach in at all. This made Chen Feng know another limitation. I'm afraid he can only put his hand into this Resident Evil movie. I don't know if other pre-cataclysmic era movies can work. But now Chen Feng only has this movie before the catastrophe. It is also impossible to try. It's a pity. Chen Feng regretted a little. If he had known in advance, he would only have taken 7 seconds. He should wait for the cinema lens to switch to a long perspective. Maybe you can take out the whole hive. Just as Chen Feng sighed, he suddenly found out. On the inside of his arm, a row of blue light appeared in the number. This number shows this string of times. 167, 55 to 27. The blue figure was engraved in his flesh and blood. And the number at the end is still beating. See this string of time numbers. Chen Feng immediately understood. His face showed joy. When you reach into a movie, you can't always reach into it once. Instead, there is a 7-day limit. As soon as the countdown on his arm goes to 0, he can put his hand into the movie again. The disappointment was occupied by joy, and Chen Feng looked again at the item he had just taken out in his hand. The items in his hand were still wrapped in blue light. It is not possible to see what is inside at all. Just a sphere. Chen Feng also found that the object taken out of the movie was a blue ball of light as long as it was in his hand. As long as it is out of his palm, it will become something in the movie. Chen Feng threw the blue ball of light on the ground. The blue light ball instantly turned into a huge blue light. Subsequently, a black soldier wearing a special operations uniform appeared in front of Chen Feng. After seeing Chen Feng, the soldier immediately saluted and shouted, "Sir, Umbrella Company Task Force Captain James reports to you. P.S. The new book sets sail, asks for flowers, asks for evaluation votes. Yanzu support it. Absolutely explode more." Chapter 4. Thoughts of shared roommates. Arrange accommodation. The mercenary carries an assault rifle on his body. There is also a lot of professional combat equipment on the body. For this black Captain James, Chen Feng still has an impression. This guy was sent by the Umbrella Company to shut down the Hive Red. Specially led a task force. What impressed Chen Feng the most was, this guy was unloaded by the laser when he was in the laser channel. Chen Feng didn't expect to actually arrest this guy. And looking at James's appearance, it is obviously unconditional obedience to him. Do 100% of the people who are caught from the movie obey my orders? Chen Feng thought to himself. The previous zombie was too, after being caught. What he commanded, the zombie did. At this moment, the voice of the female roommate came from outside the room. "Chen Feng, why are you yelling in the middle of the night?" Almost at the girlfriend's voice just sounded. James, who was standing in place, immediately raised the assault rifle in his hand and then pointed it at the position of the door. Made a Special Forces signature tactical move. Chen Feng looked at James and said, "Put the gun away. If James shoots here, it's going to be a big problem." Although this world is a world full of warriors. But the control of guns is still very strict. If it is not a warrior, you can kill people in the city. He will be killed immediately by the PCE Public Security Management Committee. And it's the kind that doesn't ask why. After hearing Chen Feng's words, James put the gun away. Chen Feng then let James stand behind the curtain and hide. He opened the door. At the door of the room, standing was Yu Zuer in her pajamas. Yu Zuer followed Chen Feng's gaze and looked into the room. There was nothing in the room. What are you calling when you don't sleep at night? Just now, when James and Chen Feng reported their identities, the voice was still very loud. After all, the house is just a small 2-room. A little louder will be heard. Chen Feng said with a smile. First chapter, previous chapter 4.